I only needed one gong and everyone was quiet. That's wonderful. Good morning to all of you here in the chapel and on YouTube. Good morning. We're especially glad to have those of you that may be with us for the first time and hope to see you again. I'd like to remind you to turn your cell phone off. For me, the problem is not so much turning it off, is remembering to turn it back on. Like half the day's gone, how come I haven't got any? And then there's a ton of text messages. I am the Reverend Suzie Matranga-Watson, and I am the worship leader, and our own minister, Reverend Robin Zucker, is the speaker. John. Okay, this is our land acknowledgement. East Roads Fellowship sits on the occupied territory of the Clackamas Chinook people, who were forcefully displaced from this land to the Grand Ronde Reservation in 1855. We acknowledge the sacrifices endured by their ancestors of this land, and that our own presence here today is only possible because of the injustices committed against them. We recognize the inherent sovereignty of the Chinook Nation and the Confederate tribes. of Grand Ron who carry on the traditions, history, and legacy held by their ancestors from time immemorial to this day. We seek meaningful relationships with these communities that foster repair. Now, let's greet our neighbors. Let's take a moment, greet each other today, both in the chapel and online. Please stand and face the camera, which are right under the clock, and wave hello to our neighbors online. And then turn to your neighbors next to you and say hello. For our online guests, if you would like to share a joy or a sorrow during that portion of the service, you can do so by entering it in the YouTube chat, and those will be shared aloud with everyone. We also encourage you to identify yourself in the chat so we may better acknowledge your presence with us today. The responsive call to worship will be on the screen. I am in the yellow, and you are in the white. And there we go. As labor is the common burden of our race, so the effort of some to shift their share of the burden onto the shoulders of others is the great durable curse of the race.
As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master.
This expresses my idea of democracy. This is from Abraham Lincoln. Whatever differs from this, to the extent of the difference, is no democracy.
Our reliance is in our love for liberty. Our defense is in the spirit which prizes liberty as the heritage of all people in all lands everywhere.
Destroy this spirit, and we have planted the seeds of despotism. Thank you. At our own doors.
Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves and cannot long retain it.
Why should there not be a patient confidence in the ultimate justice of the people? Is there any better or equal hope in the world?
Let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it.
Thank you, Mary. The chalice lighting is from Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but I am still one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something I can do.
Thank you, Suzie. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Edward Everett Hale was one of our notorious three named famous Unitarians. Our opening words today is a poem. It's disturbing, particularly with what's going on in the news today. Although this poem was written in 2014, it could have been written yesterday. It's called Ice Agents Storm My Porch by Maria Melendez-Kelson. She writes, "The indiscriminate citizenry of Earth are out to arrest my sense of being a misfit. Open up, they bellow, hands quiet before my door, that's only wind and juniper leaves anyway. You can't do it, I squeak from inside. You can't make me feel at home here in this time of siege for me and mine, mi raza. Legalized suspicion of my legitimacy is now a permanent resident in my gut. Fruit of the prickly pear, they swear, striding up to my table to juice me a glass of pink nectar. They've brought welcome baskets stuffed with proof I'm earthling. You'll always be one definitive document short, I complain. Doubts can forever outstrip your geologic, for which they produce a lock of my natal dust, bronze to the fluttering fiber of lacebark pine. Where'd you get that stuff? The baskets are bottomless, and it's useless for me to insist on being distinct. Undergoing reportation, I'm awakened to a center where walls between all beings are dreamt to dissolve." Our opening hymn is number 1018 in the Teal Hymnal, Come and Go With Me. Please rise as you are able. The words will also be on the screen.
Good morning. Today's story is called Henry Climbs a Mountain, written and illustrated by D.B. Johnson. It's a story about a bear named Henry who decides to hike up a mountain, but finds his plans interrupted when he's put in jail for standing up against unjust laws. However, even in a jail cell, Henry's mind and spirit roam free. Henry the Bear is based on a real person, Henry David Thoreau, a writer and philosopher who lived in Massachusetts more than 150 years ago. Thoreau was arrested for refusing to pay taxes to a government that allowed slavery. He believed that if enough people were willing to go to jail rather than support unjust laws, these laws would have to change. His words have inspired many people over the years and continue to do so today. This is Henry Climbs a Mountain. Henry wanted to climb a mountain, but he had only one shoe. His other shoe was at the shoemaker's being fixed. I'll get it on my way, he thought. But on his way to the shoemaker's shop, Henry was stopped by Sam, the tax collector. Henry, he said, you haven't paid your taxes. Pay a state that lets farmers own slaves? Never, said Henry. You'll have to pay or go to jail, Sam said. Then take me to jail, said Henry, and Sam did. The door slammed shut. Henry lay down on the bed and looked up at the white walls and the white ceiling. He put his bare foot against the wall. I wish I had my other shoe, Henry thought. He took crayons from his pocket and drew a shoe on the white wall. Beside the shoe, he drew a flower with a hummingbird on it. Next, Henry drew the tree the hummingbird lived in. Under the tree, he drew a path that crossed a river and climbed a mountain. Henry got his shoes wet. As he drew up the wall, he sang a song. The bear goes over the mountain, the bear goes over the mountain, the bear goes over the mountain to see what he can see. Henry climbed up waterfalls. He marched in and out of clouds. When it started to rain, Henry pulled his hat down and put on his coat. He drew a hawk soaring in the clouds on the ceiling. At the top of the mountain, Henry met a traveler coming up the other side. He was singing this song. The other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain, the other side of the mountain will set me free at last. Henry and the traveler sat together on the mountaintop. They talked and laughed and sang more songs. You have no shoes, said Henry. Are you walking far? As far as the star in the north, the traveler said. That's a long way, said Henry. Take my shoes. The traveler put on Henry's shoes. He stood and waved. Thank you, friend, he called. Henry started back down the mountain. The path went down and up and down again over sharp rocks that hurt his feet. He tripped over tree roots and logs in the path. Ouch, said Henry. Once he caught his foot in a rabbit hole. Henry rolled down the last hill and splashed across a river. He hadn't slept all night. The sun was coming up when he stumbled into the small room. Just then the door opened. It was Sam. Someone has paid your taxes, Henry, Sam said. How does it feel to be free? Henry smiled. It feels like being on top of a very tall mountain, he said. And he walked to the shoemaker's shop to buy a new pair of shoes. In his book Walden, Thoreau wrote, one afternoon near the end of the first summer, when I went to the village to get a shoe from the cobblers, I was seized and put into jail because I did not pay a tax to or recognize the authority of the state which buys and sells men, women, and children like cattle at the door of its Senate house. May we all have the courage to stand up against such injustice. And now let's head back to RE together. If the adults along the center aisle will form a bridge, we'll sing the children out.
Smile.
invite you now into some quiet time with me. If this is your first time here, we do have some quiet meditation in the middle of the service. And I invite you to uncross your arms, put your feet on the floor, put down any books or things you might be holding. And, if you can create as open a posture as possible, close your eyes. You don't have to, but it helps. And start with a big inhale and exhale. Just a couple of those to soften your face, your forehead, your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Breathe into a state of spaciousness and relaxation. Then begin your rhythmic breathing. 4 beats in, slowly through your nose, 5 or 6 beats out, slowly through your mouth, in a rhythm, creating spaciousness as you go, continuing to soften your jaw and your face and your shoulders. Move down your body, seeing if you can create spaciousness with your breath. We'll just breathe together. Let the following words drop into your consciousness like a stone in water. I choose peace. I choose ease. I choose joy. I choose peace. I choose ease. I choose joy. Continue breathing, your rhythmic breathing, while I offer these words by my colleague Kate Lohr, Joyful Defiance. Today, as the sun stretches wide across the sweep of a hurting world, we pause. Not in ignorance, not of war-wounded hospitals, nor the quiet grief of hollowed stomachs, nor the weight of systems built on the back of the silenced, but in joyful defiance. Because light, even now, does not give up. It spills over the edges of rooftops, slips into shuttered windows, finds the narrowest cracks in the most guarded heart. The earth turns, yes, but not away. It turns towards radiance, towards another chance to believe in goodness. Let this fire kindle compassion where cynicism has settled. Let it warm our weariness and pierce the fog of fear and division. Our world is aching. and still light rises, hope lingers, peace waits to be made, hand by unsteady hand. So open your palms to the sky. Feel the sun say, you are not forgotten. You are not alone. Stand in this light and promise it this, that you will not let darkness win unchallenged. Finish up your breathing and gently bring yourself back to this space. We're going to sing Building Bridges, and we're going to sing it in the following way. It's number 1023 in the teal hymnal, but the words will be on the screen. We'll sing it all together. We'll sing it in a round twice. And I'll direct you with my hands. Mary will play it through once first.
This is a reading from the Reverend Lynn Unger. It's called Bullies. Might as well admit it, the bullies are running the school. No teacher, no parent, no principal stepping in. They will take what they can, add it to their hoard, and toss some bright coin of power to the henchmen who roam the halls. I wish I knew how to make it safe. I wish I knew how to send us all back to science or language or music or math or whatever it was that we came here to do. I wish. The bullies will not be satisfied because brutality does not satisfy. They have set the terms of a game no one can win. It may come down to the need to hide, but don't hide out alone. We're gathering in the library, behind science fiction stacks. We are holed up in the art room with our colored pens, and we are yelling in soundproof practice rooms. We have brought our instruments to the band. We have brought our voices to the choir. We still have the words to print in the bulletin and the yearbook and in the poetry chapbook. We expect actually no one to read. We are plodding behind the bleachers and are still determined to put on the play. We probably won't catch the consciousness of the king, who is utterly without shame. But we have come together to learn our lines, to sing our songs, to live the lives the bullies cannot imagine.
In June of this year, just last month, Trump's boorish border czar, Tom Homan, went after Boston as a sanctuary city. He said he was going to, quote, bring hell to Boston in the form of his goonish ice raids, storming people's porches. Michelle Wu, the mayor of what is one of the nation's safest cities, suggested that Homan take a timeout. Homan didn't take well to that, and he probably didn't appreciate the smart, snarky response of the grassroots collective known as Silence Do Good, which is a nod to Ben Franklin. That was one of his pen names. They said, "You can't bring hell to Boston. It's been here waiting for tyrants and aspiring despots since 1770. The goal of the collective is to remind people of Boston's long history of protest and resistance. They create installations and public spaces that connect the city's revolutionary past with today's struggles for liberty. It's pretty amazing. Here are some examples. Boston doesn't back down. Next. This is on the Abigail Adams house. If particular care and alteration is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion. The North Church, one if by land, two if by DC. And man is mortal, justice is eternal. That's Cambridge Common. Margaret Fuller there's a plaque for her there. Friends, I can't see the next thing. Yeah. That one's a little hard for me to read, but you get the idea. What's next? This is outside the Boston Tea Party replica ship in Boston Harbor. Don't make us get this party started. That might be my favorite. This is the band shell in Boston Common. Boston must become a testing ground for the ideals of freedom. Faneuil Hall, these are unprecedented times. And you cannot erase belonging. The cradle of liberty rejects unconscionable orders. May our land be the asylum of the oppressed. Joseph Warren, the Warren Tavern, is very famous in Boston. And I'm not sure, maybe that's all of them. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, there are many more on their website, which is silencedogoodboston.com. And it's just an amazing example of a peaceful, nonviolent, very creative form of civil disobedience. Now, 25 miles west of Boston, along Route 2, sits Concord, Massachusetts. Leafy, lovely home of Ralph Waldo Emerson, the Alcotts, and, famously, Henry David Thoreau, although it's pronounced Thoreau. I was corrected, and I kind of ignored. He was a local who famously resided for a year at the town's Walden pond. Concord was my home for nearly 20 years. I raised my children there. And that place is still a hotbed of Yankee rabble-rousing. Town meeting was always a trip. You definitely didn't want to miss it. And the annual Patriots' Day festivities included Minuteman and colonial reenactors marching down Main Street and a rip-roaring replay of the Battle of the North Bridge, cannons and all, the very first skirmish of the Revolutionary War. Thoreau was a member of the famed Transcendentalist Circle, among them Emerson, Bronson Alcott, and Margaret Fuller, who met at the First Parish Unitarian in Concord, my home church, that was first gathered in 1636. Think about that. Thoreau wrote his essay on civil disobedience in 1849, 5 years before the publication of his famed memoir, Walden. It was originally titled Resistance to Civil Government, and it was penned, as you heard in the children's story, after he refused to pay a poll tax that supported the Mexican-American War and slavery, both of which he deeply opposed. But let's begin with this definition of civil disobedience, which is now the title of his essay. Civil disobedience is the act of intentionally breaking the law to protest against government policies or actions that you consider unjust. It is done nonviolently, openly, and with a willingness to accept the consequences. Thoreau's concept of civil disobedience is one of the most influential philosophical frameworks for nonviolent resistance in modern history. And it speaks to us so loudly and profoundly in our current state of affairs in America in 2025. Thoreau proclaimed all individuals recognize the right of revolution, that is, the right to refuse allegiance to or to resist the government when its tyranny or its inefficiency are great and unendurable. I was not born to be forced, he says. I will breathe after my own fashion, and let us see who is strongest. Must the citizen ever for a moment, or in the least degree, resign his conscience to the legislator? Why has every person a conscience then? I think that we should be human beings first, he says, and subjects afterwards. It's not desirable to cultivate a respect for the law so much as for the right. The only obligation which I have a right to assume is to do at any time what I think is right. Now, Thoreau makes some key arguments in this essay, and they're all relevant today. It sounds like he could have gotten up and said that at town meeting in Concord last year. 1, individual conscience over government. Thoreau believed that individuals should not permit governments to overrule their conscience. If a law is unjust, people have a moral duty to resist it. And this definitely reflects a foundational Unitarian principle in our history called the right to private judgment. Number 2, the best government governs least. And number 3, nonviolent resistance. Silence do good, for example, or the recent No Kings protests that were attended by 5 million people with almost no incidences of violence. The impactful economic boycotts of Target, Amazon, and other corporations. And number 4, accepting consequences. Thoreau accepted being jailed for his refusal to pay the tax, arguing that imprisonment for a just cause is more honorable than freedom gained by complicity. Thoreau's ideas have had a profound impact on many major figures, all of whom cite him as an inspiration. Mahatma Gandhi in the Indian independence movement, Martin Luther King Jr. in the American Civil Rights Movement, Nelson Mandela during the anti-apartheid struggles in South Africa. Why does it still matter? And how can it inspire us? I empathize that many of us are shell-shocked and exhausted by Trump's fascist onslaught. Just this week, we have been eviscerated by Trump's so-called big, beautiful bill and the complicity of congressional Republicans. It's really a big, ugly bill offering tax cuts that largely benefit the wealthiest Americans. It cuts food stamps, healthcare programs, particularly Medicaid, that will leave 12 million more Americans uninsured in 10 years. 199,000 in Oregon alone could lose their health care. Rural hospitals and nursing homes will close. They're already closing. Children, the elderly, and veterans will go hungry. Energy costs will go up. Natural resources and protected lands are at risk. It legislates a rollback for clean energy policies and tax credits, including solar energy and EVs. Even more funding on top of the millions that have been spent are going to be spent on Trump's cruel mass deportations and our building up of the military and constructing what are essentially concentration camps, like the newest one in the Everglades, which they have playfully dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. The bill will add at least $3.3 trillion to the federal debt, even though they're trying to convince us through some pretty suspicious math that that's not the case. I know. Take a breath. It's horrifying, genuinely scary. It's real. And it would be understandable if we wanted to fold up our tents and lay low. I believe paralyzing us with the insistent whirlwind of cruelty and insanity is part of their game plan. Perhaps you're wondering if any form of civil disobedience will make a dent in any of this. And I say, yes, it can, and it will, and we must, as human beings and as Unitarian Universalists, at least try. Thoreau says he was not political. I'm not sure about that when you read his writings. He was spiritual, very spiritual. Walden is a spiritual classic. I'm guessing many of us have read it. And the relationship between spirituality and civil disobedience is deeply intertwined through history, philosophy, and activism. Spirituality gives civil disobedience its soul. It transforms protest from a political tactic into a sacred duty, an act of love, conscience, and a deep commitment to higher justice. Spirituality often fosters a moral or ethical framework that can lead individuals to challenge unjust systems. Key principles like conscience over compliance, spiritual teachings that emphasize the primacy of inner truth, love, and acceptance, nonviolence or ahimsa, found in traditions like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Christianity. Nonviolence becomes a core method of resistance, and sacrifice and service. Many spiritual paths value personal sacrifice for the greater good and for the liberation of others, liberation theology in particular. For us Unitarian Universalists, civil disobedience is a form of public theology where love, justice, and conscience compel action even at personal risk. Our approach reflects a legacy of standing on the side of love and moral integrity in the face of injustice. We have a long history of engaging in civil disobedience as a form of faith-based social justice activism. Our commitment to this is deeply rooted in our religious principles, particularly in the belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person, the goal of world community, the interconnectedness of all life, and the right of conscience. These principles aren't just something we hang on the wall, which we will continue to do. They provide a religious rationale for nonviolent resistance when systems violate our values. We are a values-based religion. When something violates our values, we have a choice to lay down or to rise up. For us and for others in the fight for justice, civil disobedience is a moral imperative. Budgets are moral documents. And the UUs for Social Justice has released a statement expressing profound concerns. And in an article entitled 4th of July in the Face of Fascism, the leader of Moral Mondays, the Reverend William Barber, comments on the, quote, big ugly bill. He says, "The dystopian scene is enough to make any true believer in liberty and equality question whether they can celebrate Independence Day at all this year. But it would be a betrayal of our moral inheritance to not remember the true champions of American freedom on this day. Indeed, to forget them would mean losing the moral resources we need to revive American democracy." There is nothing un-American about questioning a fascism that defies the will of the people, that terrorizes American communities and tries to assert total control. We are determined, he said, this is still William Barber speaking, we are determined to organize a resurrection of people from every race, religion, and region of this country who know that when we come together in the power of our best moral traditions, we can reconstruct American democracy and become the nation that we've really never yet been. There is no denying. There is so much to do, and daylight is burning. Some of you have already done this, but please consider joining East Rose's partnership with Indivisible. They are so impressively and effectively organized. The next general meeting here is on Saturday, July 12th from 10 to noon. At least for me, the meetings are so energizing and full of joyful resistance. If you sign up for their notices, you'll be informed of the multiple actions and events that take place almost every week in Portland, and we'll bring the spirit of Thoreau with us. The link is in our newsletter. Or find another movement that moves you. Dorothy Day, the journalist and activist who spearheaded the Catholic workers' movement in the 1930s, would fit right into the Indivisible movement. This rallying cry can actually be found in our hymnal. It's number 560. She writes, "People say, what is the sense of our small effort? They cannot see that we must lay one brick at a time, take one step at a time. A pebble cast into a pond causes ripples that spread in all directions. Each one of our thoughts, words, and deeds is like that. No one has the right to sit down and feel hopeless. There is too much work to do. So may we rise. Blessed be, blessed we, and amen." Our final hymn is number 1017 in the Teal hymnal, "Building a New Way." Please rise as you are able. The words will also be on the screen.
Building a new way, feeling stronger
Each week, we take an offering to support this church and to share with the community nonprofit. Through August, half our offering will go to NAYA, Native American Youth and Family Center, which serves Native Americans from across the Portland metropolitan areas. Their aim is to enhance the diverse strength of youth families in partnership with community through cultural identity and education. They promote healthy living through positive alternative to high-risk behaviors and promote the values of sobriety, family stability, culture, active lifestyles, and education. Our congregation is involved with several projects with NAYA, and we encourage you to check Petals or contact Karen Pyle, who's out in the lobby area, for ways to join this partnership. If you are attending online, you may donate by visiting our website and clicking the donate button, or you may scan the QR code on the screen. If you are here for the first time, we invite you to let the basket pass and be truly our guest. The gifts of the congregation will be most gratefully received. And sing our song of gratitude. It is 10:10 in the teal hymnal. We give thanks, and the words are on the screen. The words for extinguishing the chalice are from Eric Hepburn. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains. Thank you, Mary. There are two announcements specifically. One from Patty Walsh. East Rose Walkers will be visiting Mount Tabor Park Wednesday. We will leave East Rose at 9 a.m., drive to 60th Street. This is a flexible paved walk, about 3 miles, including some up and down. Lunch somewhere in the Jade District. Contact Patty Walsh for details. The second one, weeding help urgently needed. Linda Sheldeck has been diligently weeding by herself. She's right there. She's a saint. And needs help. The situation is a disaster. Can you spare 60, 90 minutes to help? Linda is happy to work with your schedule. Please contact Linda. We will be having a potluck after the service. It will be in the back. If you did not bring anything, we have plenty of food. So please come. Yes, Keen. Very quick.
Snowcap Friday, 3 o'clock this week. And the following week, the 19th, we will have a work party here, and maybe we can get some of your stuff done then too.
Okay. I have one announcement. It's about next Sunday. There's a lot going on next Sunday. So at 9:15, I'm meeting with people who are interested in membership. Some of these people have already met together. We're going to meet again next week, 9:15. Come. We'll have some little sweet things to eat and hopefully some coffee. Then the service next week is, you might have seen in the newsletter, called A Curious Bunch, and it's a question box service. So there are these little cards out in the lobby in the narthex on the table near the name tags. You can take one of these or use your own index card and write a question on it that you either would like me to answer or you want me to put out to the crowd. We'll have a little open discussion. These can be about you, your history, about theology, about what's going on in the world, about the big questions, what do you think happens after we die, that kind of thing. And it's really a fun service that it reflects really well the fact that Unitarian Universalism is about the questions and not the answers. And we will sing hymns that only have a question mark in them, just to be thematic. And then after the service, we will have spirited conversations where we can continue that questioning spirit that we have as you use. So if you want to pick up one of these to write your question on and bring it back next week, great. Please make it legible, or we'll have some index cards next week as well. And please say the benediction with me.
Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.
Go out in joy and return in love. I look forward to talking with you more and having you socialize at our potluck.